This video, when I'm telling you I was going to do this video, I don't even know when I was going to do this video, but I always wanted to do this video. I knew I had to, especially as a former fan of Logic. It made sense for me to make this video, but I've been trying to not to do it, especially because I already know once I say what I gotta say, that is it. But this topic is very, very serious to me. You guys already know this. We're going to talk about that in this video and more things related to Logic and his propaganda. We're going to do that now. In case you do not know who's Logic, before we even get to the juicy stuff, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about a few things about Logic. Logic's real name is Sir Robert Bryson Hall II. He was born on January 22nd, 1990. He's 31 years old. He's an American rapper and a producer. Now, ethnicity, nationality, and what? Race. Yes, guys, yes. Logic's ethnicities. They don't really specify. They just say that his mom is white American and his dad is African American. Now, nationality. Logic is American. I think I mentioned that previously. Race. Here is pictures of Logic's family. Okay, now I'm going to be very, very honest. Logic is most definitely not biracial.
Though, like, his mom, I believe, is white, and then his dad is, like, biracial himself. So it's like, it's not even giving a lot of ancestry.
And it hurts because I was a big fan of his, but I cannot sugarcoat this, even though people are saying that there's a possibility that his dad is just a fair-skinned black man. I do not buy it. I personally think Logic's father is biracial. And it's the truth. Like, I don't see someone who has just black features when I see Logic's dad. And that's fine. But this is my problem with Logic. Logic has been putting all this facade saying that his dad is black. Maybe there's a possibility his dad doesn't identify with his white side of the family. We don't know the full story. We do not know.
The drugs off of him, right? And I might use some of those drugs, but I would re-up. I would sell what I had to get some more. You was selling my shit. I mean, addiction is a part of our family tree.
Yeah. My mother died. His grandmother died from the disease at 41. She went to a party, went to sleep, never woke up.
My father, he died at 47.
But that still does not make it okay for someone like Logic to keep this undercover. He's mostly white, which means he's white. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys are gonna get triggered, but it's the truth. I cannot lie about this. It's like, for example, Halsey. Halsey, her dad is biracial, her mom is white. Halsey's mostly white. What does that mean? Halsey's white. I mean, honestly, I could easily tell that Halsey's dad was mixed too, but the point is, yes, I do know there are some black people who are fair skinned. You guys already know my sisters and I, we are not the same complexion, but we all have the same parents. So I do know that, and I do have friends who have siblings that are not the same complexion as them, but they're black. Their parents are black, both of them. We gotta keep it real. Logic, there's a high chance that his dad is biracial. And that's my problem with him. And then now we're gonna move on to the next segment. Logic and the N-word. So Logic, the N-word is his best friend. As a former fan of his, I could guarantee to you guys, especially if you're not a fan or was a fan or barely heard any of his records, I could guarantee he said the N-word numerous times on his records. That is not a secret. I cannot make this up.
Beautiful black brothers and sisters want to act like I'm adopted. Go back in time to when my nigga daddy impregnated my cracker mama and stopped it. Like these are things that I've heard throughout my whole life.
He says it both ways. He says it with the new version, and then he also says the ER version. And that is definitely a problem because he's mostly not black. That's a problem.
So with these two people, imagine Logic going into a black barbershop and trying to say the N-word. Logic would get beat up. Logic would get beat up.
If you're mostly not black, you should not be saying both N-words. And before any of you dummies try to say, no one shouldn't be saying the word in general, I don't care. That's not the point of this video. If you're not black, biracial / mixed with black, do not say the N-word. Do not tell me as a black person to not say the N-word. It's my decision. It's other black, biracial / mixed with black people's decisions. If we want to say it, we could say it. That's it. Now, moving on. Logic talking about issues being biracial / mixed with black and race issues. This is another problem. So I could kind of sympathize with Logic in a way because even though he's mostly white, allegedly his mom was racist. Because of that, he had issues with racial issues with himself. That affected him mentally and physically. Even though I could sympathize with Logic, that still doesn't make it okay for him to be saying the N-words and also him trying to talk about race issues in his music as a white passing mixed race person. It's a problem. I get it, he could in a way, but he's not black, biracial / mixed with black. He's mostly white. Sure, he does go through similar stuff that we go through as black, biracial / mixed with black people, but it's not the same. It's not the same. As a person who tries to be fair and see different perspectives, and then also I was a fan of Logic's. It's kind of hard. So if you feel like I'm holding back too much, I'm very, very sorry in advance. Even though I do understand, but it's like at the same time, you don't go through the same things I go through as a person who actually is black. Like, you don't go through the same shit I go through. Same thing goes for my biracial / mixed with black people as well. You don't go through the same thing that I as a black person go through. Also, we have to remember Logic's dad, he also faces discrimination too, because if his mother calls Logic and their mostly white children the ER word, imagine his dad when they were in the relationship together. Oh no. Mm-mm.
I've heard about, you know, allegedly his like white mom is a racist, which also throws up warning flags in my mind, because if your white mother is a racist, you're probably a fucking racist too. Like, I don't give a fuck if you fucking rap and you have a black dad and this and that. Like, if your mom that raised you is a racist, you're probably racist too. He's like, oh, and my mom, you know, called me the N-word and this and that. And it's like, okay, but that's because your mom knew, because she's the one that like fucked the black person. I'm pretty sure no stranger out in the street has ever called you an N-word or a monkey or followed you around a store. Or...
This is the final topic before concluding statements. We have to talk about Logic and his marrying preferences. This is like one of the main issues I have with him. That's when I realized, okay, something is not making sense. And before I even explain myself, I'm going to say this right here, right now. You could be with whoever you want to be, but if you're pro-black and you are mostly white, why would you marry non-black women? I do believe that his first wife, they were in a long-term relationship, so that was different. Like, I think they dated since high school. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but my point is, practice what you preach. If you hear Logic songs, you're going to see where I'm coming from. It doesn't make sense to me that he is here trying to be pro-black as a mostly white person, and he is, first he married a non-black woman, and then he marries a non-black woman again, aka two white women. It does not make sense. And or at least someone who's biracial. And before any of you guys say that, oh, so you try to say he should fetishize black, biracial, and or mixed with black women, I am not saying that. What I'm saying is that it does not make sense that he is pro-black, but he's a mostly non-black person, and he's marrying non-black women. It does not make sense to me. And now Logic has a son who is white. He's definitely white. So how he's going to explain to his kid and future kids, because I have a feeling that they're going to be together for a very long time, so I don't even know what's going to happen with their future kids, because if he's talking like this now, imagine in the future. Concluding statements. Sure, Logic is a talented rapper, but that does not mean he does not get no criticism when it comes to things that he does, whether in his music career and or personal life. I do usually try to separate whatever some artists do with their personal time, because at the end of the day, that's their personal time and that's private. But then again, sometimes you have to be like, okay, this kind of ties with their music career, and then you're like, okay, that's not okay. And that's what I'm trying to do with Logic. Trust me, I do miss his music. His music is very good. It's very versatile, and he's a very good rapper. That still does not make it okay for him as a mostly non-black person to identify as black and or mixed with black. That's a problem. And this does affect also biracial and or mixed with black people, because of people like Logic identify as biracial and or mixed with black. It affects those marginalized groups of people as well, because then if they are actually white passing, people like, for example, Logic are going to take their spaces, and that's a problem. Same thing with black people. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. All I gotta say is I really hope Logic publicly acknowledges what he has done and I hope he apologizes. As of now, I do not hear his music, but I do miss his music, but I gotta practice what I preach, and I do not pray when it comes to this type of stuff. You guys already know this, especially if you watch my previous videos on my channel. We see what happens. Hopefully he speeds up the apology, because I'm waiting logic. Thank you so much if you made it this far in this video. I appreciate you. Tell me your thoughts about this video. I would like to hear them in the comments. Thank you, and